Hi YouTube, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can visit me on the web, caltoncutlery.com. Okay, so it's the day after Christmas. Hope everybody had a good Christmas and is looking forward to a new and exciting year. You know, a couple of days off here. I'm getting caught up on some projects around the house and around the shop. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to put a recoil pad on my other Ruger 1022, and then I think as soon as I get done with that, I'm probably going to pull my little Volkswagen Bug into the shop and replace the clutch and the alternator and take the carburetor apart and clean it, and a couple of little things while I'm in there. Just get it tuned up and ready to go. It's been a while since it was in the shop and got some work done. Anyway, the Ruger 1022, awesome rifle. Okay, I mean they've sold millions and millions and millions of them. Okay, there are a couple of places that that these rifles need help with. One is the little recoil buffer. It's a little rubber pin that goes through the back of the action so that the bolt slams into that instead of a steel pin, and it just reduces vibration in the action and all that kind of stuff. Bedding the action and the barrel to the stock, if you keep the wood stock, and that's what we did on this one, was we used that Acroglass and bedded the barrel and the action into the stock. Worked the trigger, put a scope on. There's a couple of little things about that. This one's got a match grade Green Mountain bull barrel. Shoots very, very accurately with the Ely. I think it's a 38 grain subsonic hollow point. With this, it's a 20 or a 22 inch barrel. It's a heavy jobber, but like I said, it's really accurate. It's 20 inch. And with those subsonics with a 20-inch barrel, it makes it, you know, nice and discreet too. So, you know, when you're shooting either cottontails, you know, out hunting, or if you're shooting, you know, ground squirrels on a buddy's place, you know, I mean, it's, you know, nice and quiet and a little bit, you know, just more of a polite rifle. The stock, I went ahead and cut. This is, well, you guys have seen my other video where you cut out a cheek piece and then raise it up and then put it on posts so that you can raise and lower the cheek piece to get yourself some, you know, get a good cheek weld. The big thing about this one, though, this video, is to solve this problem, and that's this damn plastic butt plate, okay? I think this one's plastic. I think some of them are steel. They suck, okay? I mean, there's no two ways around it. They kind of look cool, and they're light. A 22 doesn't really recoil. I mean, as far as like a recoil impulse into your shoulder that you would need calm down with a recoil pad. But the rest of it, this butt plate just sucks, okay? I mean, when you stand it up, you know, you stand it up like in a corner, that right there slips around an awful lot, you know, especially like on a tile or a hardwood floor or something like that. When you throw it, when you put it up into your shoulder, if you're wearing just a t-shirt or a coat or anything like that, yeah, that butt plate's okay. But the second you put a pack on, that pack strap, that butt plate will just slip all over creation, and you'll never get a very good mount into your shoulder. And that's one of the key elements of accuracy is fitting that rifle to you so that you and that rifle become as close to being one as possible, and that leads to more accurate shooting. So anyway, so what I have here is I have a new recoil pad. My other video on this recoil pad showed the Doc is after a ball up underneath the wood stove. Showed this recoil pad up under a anyway, this recoil pad mounted to my other 1022. This is going to be more of a install video. So here's the package. With a little bit of luck, it'll have like a receipt or the guy's name that I bought it from, because I bought this a couple of weeks ago. Got it off eBay. I want to say it was like 12, 13 bucks delivered. And there it is. It is kind of a, you know, kind of a wild looking recoil pad, you know, with the holes and the really extreme curve right here, But what it does have going for it is it's made out of rubber. Rubber is very tacky. You can put it in your shoulder, even with a pack strap on, and it will not slip. With this on the butt of the rifle, you can set it down on a tile floor, lean the muzzle up into a corner. It won't slip either. Okay, so this is really nice. So we're gonna mount this, and we're gonna make a couple of little changes to it to make it a little bit better. The guy that I bought it from, here's his doohickey. dbtac.com. So I guess he's got a website. You can order directly off the website, or you can do what I did and I bought this off of eBay. This came with the recoil pad, so apparently if you buy off of eBay, then he'll give you a little coupon to buy off of his website. Okay, so first things first, shipping on eBay the eBay thing was relatively quick too, if I remember right. I mean, a couple of days, and this was just standard first class packaging. So let's drop the magazine, lock the bolt back so that we know it's all clear and everything. So let's go ahead and first of all take this old one off. You got a screw in the top of the stock, and we're going to reuse these screws again, so don't lose them. There's one there, and then there's one in the back near the toe. How's that? I believe they're the same screw, as in the two screws are identical, but we're going to keep them apart anyway. And then off comes the old butt plate. This rifle right here, a good friend of mine redid the stock for me. And so when he sanded it down, he sanded the wood down to fit this. So this might be a little on the skinny side. First off, we're going to talk about the weight. Okay, so the plastic butt plate weighs 0.7 ounces. This big old thing weighs, why does it say low? Oh, it says the battery's low. Maybe it'll give us one more weight. Weighs 6.4 ounces. So that's going to be 6 ounces worth of extra weight on the butt of the rifle, which in this case right here is going to be a welcome change because this one's got that bull barrel, which makes it really front heavy. Now, on my other one, the fit was actually pretty good for this curve right here. We'll see how this one is. Okay, so now this top screw right here, we're going to have a little bit of a gap here, which doesn't really bother me. We may end up having to take a little bit of rubber off the front here because it won't seat in quite far enough for this to go in, even though it's buttoned up back here. And then, it's going to fit pretty dang close, and it's going to overlap a little bit, and that'll be all right. So let's take a pocket knife, and we're just talking about a little bit of this rubber here on the mold line. Okay, let's get that off of there. Pretty much just cleaning up the mold line here, because these were, like I said, this was only like $10 or $13 delivered off of eBay. So for that amount of money, it's not like you can really expect it to be completely perfect. And let's face it, how many millions of these rifles were manufactured and sold over the years? For any aftermarket part to be a complete and true drop-in fit, with no gaps anywhere, that would be a pretty incredible feat. Okay. Alright, so we just cleaned up these mold lines a little bit. Yep, that's fitting better. Okay, so let's screw it on here and then see what we got to start with. Okay, so now the top one is contacting. I don't really want to tighten it up all the way until we get both screws in there, and then kind of jiggle it around a little bit, get it where it needs to be before we start tightening things up. Okay, so the screw holes are matching up. That's good. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and tighten that one down and then come back and tighten this one down. Okay. Actually, let's pop this sling off too while we're here. Okay, so we've actually got a pretty dang good fit here. There's a little bit, you can see a little bit of light through here, and there's a couple little bitty gaps up here, and we've got a little bit of an overlap here, here, at the toe is good. So we could go ahead and shoot this just run it just the way it is. You know, there's, those little gaps and everything, well, where it's proud isn't really going to hurt much of anything. It might hurt your idea of aesthetics, but it's certainly functional, and it's already up in, my pocket. I can feel it gripping really good. Now, there's a couple of things that I think I'm going to fix, though, here. First of all, this curve right here is too severe. It's more so than the old one. So see how the old one is pretty, it's still got a curve, but it's relatively flat compared to this one. This one's got a really, really bad curve. Plus, the points here and the points here, they're digging into my pocket quite a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some lines on this thing. And then we're going to take it off, and then, because like I said, the stock has been finished already, right? So I don't really want to mess up the finish on this stock, because then I'll have to go back through and refinish it and everything. So if we make our adjustments, make our measurements on the stock, pull the thing off, change it, bring it back, fit it, we'll have to do that a couple of times to get it right, and then put it on. Now, it won't be completely perfect like what this one is, because this was on here when my buddy completely refinish the stock. So this is a complete perfect fit. This won't be like that, but it'll be close. So what we need to do is we need to grab a pencil. Pencil ought to be able to give us a mark on this rubber here. And we're just going to want to run our pencil right down around the stock. Okay, so if we grind to those lines, actually just a little bit past where that pencil mark is, that will bring these things flush. Now our next thing that we need to do, move this out of the way, so you can probably see the angle a little bit better here. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to take our old butt plate, kind of line it up as best we can here. Now the problem is these holes right here are kind of gonna dictate how far we can go. So if we line this up here, no, it must have shifted while I was there. So you can kind of match this here, but it needs to match. So if you just lop the end of this off, it'll change the way the stock sits in your shoulder. Okay, so we need to keep it pretty much as close to the original as we can. about like this. Okay, so if we take about that, actually let's go ahead and do that first off, and we'll just go ahead and start shaving this down until it fits right. So this stuff is really, really easy to cut. Okay, so I'm going to put the muzzle up here, and we're just going to go ahead and chop this off. Can you guys see this? I mean, this is just, you know, regular old pocket knife here. And this cut doesn't have to be really all that exact. Okay, so that took off that much. That feels quite a bit better. Not quite enough though. So let's go ahead and let's take a little bit off the top here. You guys can't see that. A little bit off the top there, kind of blend that in some. And then we're going to take a little bit more off the toe here. That is one nice thing about this being just a big old solid chunk of rubber, is that we can carve on it, we can sand it. Okay, so it took even more of that off. Oh yeah, there we go. You know, and that, even though that's just a couple of ounces, that really is kind of helping counterbalance the that bull barrel there. I think we're going to leave that. I think we're going to leave that about the way it is for the moment. You know, and then when we get into the grinding room, and when we go ahead and we grind the sides right here, we'll kind of feather that in a little bit and see what it looks like. Okay, so let me grab some earplugs. When we get in there, grinder's going to be a little on the noisy side. Probably use this grinder here. And probably like a 120 grit belt. Now, if you don't have a belt grinder, or you don't have one of these big belt grinders, you can use, you know, one of these little jobbers right here. This is a little Ryobi 4x36 with the disc on the side. These work really, really good for this type of deal. In fact, maybe we'll just do this. Yeah, we'll just clean this off and use this. We'll take the knives I got working on off of it. And if we use this one, I don't need earplugs, because this one's pretty quiet. Okay. I need my reading glasses. Hang on just a second. Now, mine, I do an awful lot of work on the disc right here, and to get really flat lines, use a foot switch. So you put your material on the grinder, and then you can hit the foot switch to make it go, and then you grind off what you think you're going to need, and then you leave it on there. You pull your foot off the foot switch, let it come to a stop, and then pull your workpiece off, and that makes for a much flatter piece. This, we really don't worry about all that this much. Now this grinder is coming towards me here, so I just need to remember that. So there's my line there. Now the finish isn't too bad, so I can tilt it in a little bit more. Oh, we've got some steel in there. That's kind of cool. I did not see that on the other one, but we're pretty close. We're at the line there. We need to come up here and up here. Now we're to the line. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now we'll feather this part in just a bit. Okay, just a hair more. And the same thing there. Okay, there we go. So our pencil marks are gone now. So we're where we need to be. We did, apparently these butt plates have got a steel insert in them, so that's kind of cool. I think that's all right now. So now I think what we need to do is we need to kind of round this off because I don't really like these sharp corners, and we're going to do that right down here. We'll also kind of bring this down just a little bit more. You know, the knife works really good for removing large chunks of material. The grinder works really good for kind of easing up on things, kind of feathering it out and such like that. Okay, now let's see what we got. Clear. Say hi. I think we're going to be mighty dang close here. So probably what we'll end up doing is you know, if we got the fit pretty nice on the sides, or at least acceptable, I'll probably take some cold blue and touch up that that little bit of exposed steel, just to kind of help it blend in some. I mean, this recoil pad is never gonna win any awards in the looks department. But it is going to make the overall rifle a whole lot nicer. Okay, yeah, we nailed it pretty dang close. There's a little bit right here. There's a little bit up in here, and a little bit here. And honestly, I'm just going to leave that the way it is. Now, this looks a whole lot flatter, right? And looks an awful lot closer to the original angle here, right? Now the thing is that as easy as it is for this rubber, you know, as easy it is, as easy as it is to work this, I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and then I'll take it out to the range, go hunting with it a couple of times, and then, you know, as I work with it, then I can kind of make small changes here and there. Like this right here, I might want to round this off a little bit more, because when you go to mount the rifle, if you don't throw it forward far enough and then bring it back in, if you've got too much right there, it'll tend to catch your shirt. See that? And then, and by rounding that off some, that kind of helps alleviate that. But this is feeling that's feeling pretty good, and it's not moving. I mean, okay, so if I grab hold with this hand, it's not moving on here, okay? I mean, it's solid, and even with a pack strap, that's not going to move anywhere. You go to set it down somewhere, now that rubber's going to grip whatever it is that you set it down on, and you have a whole lot less likelihood of your rifle falling over. So, I mean, like I said, is it, okay, so we still have like a little bit of a gap right there and right there, okay? You know, that, but like I said, for a hunting rifle, that does not bother me one dang bit at all. Not when it comes to, you know, the benefits of the rest of the pad. Now, it is increasing my length of pull by an inch. Maybe a hair more than an inch. So this is 1 1/8. And this is about 1/8. So yeah. So it does increase your length of pull by about 1 inch, you know, but there's enough room in here that you could go ahead and cut down, you know, just to the back edge of these holes. Where these little holes are in right here. So you could go in at least another 1/4, maybe a 1/2 inch farther that way. You know, if the stock was, you know, going to be too long with that recoil pad on there. So, like I said, the other one, I was so excited about that recoil pad and how it completely changed this back end of my rifle, and how, you know, it stays where I put it in my shoulder, and all the other, you know, lengthens the pull out a little bit, changes the balance a little bit, because we probably, this was what, 6.4 ounces, and we probably took off, yeah, maybe 1/2 ounce. So we added 6 ounces to the butt of the rifle, which will change, you know, your handling and everything a little bit for the better, I think. So again, these recoil pads come from dbtac.com, or he's on eBay. Like I said, this was $10-15 bucks delivered off of eBay, which, you know, now the reason that we're not using a normal recoil pad is this part right here. So this stock is inlet up here for this. So if you wanted to put like a normal flat recoil pad on here, first you'd have to cut the stock and cut it flat, okay? Cut it flat and cut it at flat and a 90-degree angle this way, and then make sure that you got it pretty good this way also, okay? No big deal. Well, then you could go ahead and you could find, you know, the smallest decelerator grind to fit, you know, recoil pad that you could, grind it down, screw it on there. But the big thing is that you'd have this little inletted portion right here, and it'd be exposed, and it, you know, look like crap, really. I suppose what you could do is you could take your old butt plate and cut that top portion off of it, and then inlet it down in there and then put your other pad on, you know, that would kind of look okay. You know, it might even look a little bit better than having these big holes here. But that's an awful lot of extra work, and I think those decelerator recoil pads, I think the last one I bought was several years ago, and it was like 30 bucks or so. Whereas this is, you know, 10, 15 bucks, and it's easy to cut and grind and everything. So again, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can find me on the web, caltoncutlery.com. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm really going to enjoy this new recoil pad, and we will see you next time.